Listen, I started Jake off and I'm gonna finish him. Just come to the fight and you'll see.
Watching Mike Tyson's new training footage will definitely make you more confident that he will win the match against Jake Paul. And fast, and his punches are powerful. It's hard to imagine anyone beating him, even at this age. Where Mike is 57 and Jake is 27, this 30-year age gap suggests the fight might favor Jake. But watching Mike drill in the training sessions shows just one thing: a victory.
Tyson in his prime, where he was fucking terrifying. He was so fast, and he would do angles, and he was bobbing and weaving. You couldn't hit him, and he was just coming at you.
Now, this 57-years-old legend still carries the aura of one of boxing's most feared champions. And the Joe Rogan, who is a famous UFC commentator also known for his popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, where he strongly compares the Tyson we see now with the terrifying boxer who used to dominate his opponents in the ring.
He couldn't be stopped. No one had the solution. And I submit that Mike Tyson, the Mike Tyson that won the title against Trevor Berbick, the Mike Tyson that beat Larry Holmes, I think that Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time. I don't think anybody fucks with him.
Like Tyson's fight against Marvis Frazier. This bout, which happened before Tyson claimed the heavyweight title, is known as one of his most brutal and swift victories in just one round. Tyson overwhelmed Frazier with such ferocity that the bout was more of an execution than a typical boxing match. Then Joe Rogan said that if Jake Paul were to face a version of Tyson even remotely close to that prime, there would be no chance in hell that Paul could survive.
That Mike Tyson from Marvis Frazier fought Jake Paul. Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not going to make it.
Now, this statement underscores the immense risk Jake Paul is taking by facing a fighter like Tyson, even an older, slower version. Next, an interviewer asks a question to Lennox Lewis, who is considered one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time, about the upcoming fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, saying, "What are your expectations for that big fight in Dallas, Texas?" In response, the Lennox Lewis said it's going to be a good fight to watch, emphasizing how powerful Mike Tyson still is.
I think it's going to be a good fight. I mean, Mike Tyson, what he does is two-dimensional. He's going to come at you, trying to knock you out. Now, you got to try and stay away from him, stay away from his power.
He pointed out that Tyson has some serious combinations, and Jake Paul needs to be careful to stay out of the way of those punches.
I seen him working out the other day, and he throws some good combinations. So those 6-punch combinations, he has to make sure, I'm talking Jake Paul, make sure that he's not in the way of those punches, because Tyson's a real fighter.
Even at his age, Tyson remains a real fighter who can both throw and take a punch, so Jake better be prepared.
Oh yeah, no, Tyson can throw a punch, he can take a punch, so, he's doing something that he's used to.
What do you think about this statement? Can Jake Paul win, or is he more likely to face a loss? Could Tyson's power and experience be too much for Jake? Or does Jake have what it takes to come out on top? Now, imagine you're about to face a legendary fighter, and even your family is worried about you because of the opponent. It's pretty intense and can be demotivating. But considering who you're up against, Mike Tyson, it's understandable to be concerned about the consequences. Just listen to what Jake Paul's brother, Logan Paul, who is also a boxer, has to say about Tyson on his podcast.
Can I make the comparison to Yoda in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Like, Yoda.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be hobbling around doing whatever, but when Yoda goes
Activates.
to battle, you can't be Yoda.
Where sitting next to Logan Paul, Mike Majlak's reaction underscores the intense level of concern surrounding the upcoming fight. His comment reveals a genuine fear and awe towards Mike Tyson's performance.
I'm saying, and when you watch that sparring footage, I'm scared.
It
You know what I'm
looks like
saying?
he can-
I don't want to see him at all.
Looks like he can hit like a tank.
Yeah.
Majlak, who frequently engages with fighters, clearly found Tyson's recent sparring footage alarming, suggesting that even seasoned observers are taken aback by Tyson's enduring power and skill. Tyson's ability to still command such a reaction, even at 57, speaks volumes about his legendary status in the boxing world. For Jake Paul, who's set to face Tyson, this kind of feedback from respected figures like Majlak adds another layer of pressure. It highlights the daunting challenge he faces in the ring against a fighter who continues to intimidate even those well acquainted with the sport. The fear expressed by Majlak also reflects broader concerns about the potential risks involved in the fight. It suggests that Tyson, despite his age, remains a formidable opponent whose presence and prowess cannot be underestimated. For Jake Paul, this is not just another match, but a significant test against a fighter who, according to Majlak, still exudes a level of intimidation and skill that's hard to ignore. And Michael Jai White also shared his thoughts. White, known for his martial arts expertise, made it clear that he's placing his bet on Tyson. "I'm sorry, but I don't see how Jake pulls this off," he said confidently. White believes that Tyson's power, particularly his body punches, will be too much for Jake to handle. Jake is not of the size to give Mike a problem. Mike hits him in the body, and the body doesn't move that much. I don't see how Jake survives a body attack. Reflecting on Tyson's past fights, White noted that even at 220 pounds, which is just 1 pound less than Tyson's optimal weight, Mike remains a formidable opponent. In contrast, Jake Paul, who weighed in at around 200 pounds for his last fight, might be outmatched. White emphasized, "It's worse than I thought. Jake's got a punch, but he's fought much smaller guys compared to Tyson." However, White didn't dismiss Jake entirely. He acknowledged that Jake has worked hard to build his career and make a name for himself in the boxing world. But when it comes to Tyson, White remains skeptical. Tyson is Tyson. He's got a fearsome reputation that has defeated many before the fight even starts. If Jake's smart, he should be scared, but embrace the fun of it. He gets to fight Mike Tyson. That's a dream come true. In the end, White sees Tyson's experience and raw power as the deciding factors. Jake Paul is going to make a lot of money, but in the ring with Tyson, I don't see him walking away with a win, he concluded. And, what do you think about these statements? Let us know in the comments section below. Another French professional mixed martial artist and former UFC heavyweight champion, known for his incredible knockout power and impressive physique, also shared the thoughts in a podcast that, standing there, watching Mike Tyson's new training footage, I couldn't help but think, wow, this guy is still something else. It's like seeing a legend who never lost his edge. I mean, it's not like Tyson's gearing up for a 12-round war with Jake Paul. No way. I don't see this fight dragging out Jake Paul. He might be tough, but Tyson is on a different level. From what I've seen, Tyson's training is intense and focused. If Jake Paul thinks he's ready for a prolonged fight, he might be in for a surprise. Tyson's power and skill are still very much there. I expect this fight to end quickly, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's over before it really starts. Francis Ngannou shared these insights, noting that while Jake Paul is improving, Tyson's experience and strength are undeniable. Ngannou also mentioned that Tyson's rigorous training has him looking as formidable as ever, which could spell trouble for Jake Paul's fight plans. And at a recent press conference in New York, Jake Paul made it clear that this fight is all about making history. He knows people have doubts about his boxing career, but he's determined to prove them wrong. Jake expressed his excitement about facing Mike Tyson, calling it the biggest challenge of his life. "This is about more than just fighting Tyson," Jake said. "It's about making history on a huge stage, right here in New York." His confidence was obvious as he promised the crowd that this fight would be unforgettable. Jake Paul also said that he knows people think he's going to get knocked out by Mike Tyson, with everyone talking about Mike's power and saying Jake's going to get KO'd. Even at the event, people were yelling at him, doubting him. But Jake's confident. He's ready to put Mike to sleep. He made it clear that this isn't a joke. Mike's been saying it's going to be Jake's funeral, that he's going to kill Jake Paul. Jake still respects Mike, but he said they're not friends anymore, not until November 15th. Jake's determined to knock him out and see who's really dead then. Whereas Tyson was direct in saying that the fight would be long and painful for Jake Paul. He didn't elaborate much on his strategy, but conveyed that he's still a formidable opponent and that Jake should be prepared for a tough fight. Tyson also hinted that this might not be a one-off event, leaving the door open for future bouts depending on how things go. Will Tyson's legendary power end Jake Paul's fight quickly, or could Jake Paul surprise us with his own skills and endurance? With all this expert insight, what do you think? Can Jake Paul overcome Tyson's legendary power, or is he destined for defeat? Will Tyson's experience and skill prove too much for Jake, or does Jake have a chance to defy the odds? How do you think this fight will unfold? Share your predictions and thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights and stories about the world of sports.